Hi everyone, welcome to this lecture on Indian Constitution Unit 2 Introduction to Indian Constitution. In this video, we are going to understand three very important parts of our Constitution: fundamental rights, descriptive principles of state policy, and fundamental duties. These three concepts are extremely important because the Constitution does not simply tell us what rights we have. It also tells the state what goals it should work towards, and it reminds citizens about their responsibilities. So we can remember the entire topic with three simple words: rights, goals, duties. Fundamental rights protect and empower us, whereas directive principles guide the government. Fundamental duties make us responsible citizens. Let us see one by one. Our constitution in daily life. How does the Constitution affect our everyday life? Sometimes we think that the Constitution is only a legal document used by courts, lawyers, and politicians. But that is not true. The Constitution includes many aspects of our daily lives. For example, when we talk about equality, freedom of speech, education, religion, social justice, environmental protection, and responsibilities towards the nation, we are directly or indirectly dealing with the Constitution principles. The Constitution provides us with the rights. It provides direction to the state through the directive principles, and it reminds citizens of their responsibilities through the fundamental duties. Therefore, these three components helps in building a just, democratic, and progressive society. Let us begin with the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are the basic rights guaranteed by the Constitution to ensure justice, liberty, equality, and dignity. They are contained in Part 3 of Constitution covering Article 12 to 35. An important feature of fundamental right is that they are justiciable. So what do you it means that it is a fundamental right is violated. If the fundamental right is violated, a person can approach the courts for its enforcement. In other terms, fundamental rights protect individuals from injustice and help them live with dignity and freedom. So, what is the importance of these fundamental rights? Is right to equality. So, the right to equality is covered. Let us see the importance of the fundamental rights. So, right to equality. The right to equality is covered under Article 14 to 18. The Article 14 provides equality before the law and equal protections of the law. This means the law should treat people fairly and equally. The idea is to create a society beyond based on equality and equal opportunity. Next is the right to freedom, which is covered under the Article 19 to 22. It includes important freedoms such as freedom of speech and expression, freedom of peaceful assembly, freedom of association, freedom of movement, freedom of residence, and freedom to practice a profession. These freedoms are essential for a democratic society. For example, the ability to express an opinion, practice in discussions form association, and move freely are important aspects of democratic life. So having freedom also means using the freedom responsibility. Next, right to education, so which is under the Article 21A, uh, free and compulsory education for children between 16 and 14 years of age, so which is determined by the in subject to law. So education is extremely important because it provides individual with knowledge, skill, and opportunities. So next is the reservation and equality of opportunity. So these provides allows the state to make special provisions for the advancement of social and educational backward classes and for adequate representation in public services subject to constitutional provisions. The objective is to promote social justice and equal opportunities. Directive Principles of State Policy, commonly called DPSP. While fundamental rights tell us what protection individuals have, directive principles tell us the state what goals it should work towards. DSPS, DPSP are contained in Part 4 of Constitution covering Article 36 to 51. They provide guidelines for establishing a justice, social, economic, and political order. Examples of directive principles: adequate means of livelihood, Article 39A. The state should work towards securing adequate means of livelihoods for citizens. Distribution of material resource, Article 39B. Resource should be distributed in a manner that serves the common good. Equal pay for equal work. The state should promote equal pay for equal work for men and women. Panchayats, Article 40. The state should take steps to organize village panchayat and provide them with appropriate powers and authority. Public health. Article 47. Improving public health and raising the level of nutrition and are identified as important responsibilities of the state. Protection of environment. Article 48A. The state should protect and improve the environment, safeguard forest and wildlife. Protection of monuments. Article 49. The state should protect monuments and place the places and objects of artistic or historic interest. International peace, Article 51. The state should promote international peace and security, encourage respect for international laws. Why are the DPSP's importance? So, directive principles aim to promote social and economic justice, reduction inequalities, adequate livelihood, public health and education, environmental protection, and international peace and security. So, if fundamental rights protects the individual, DPSP provide a broader vision of society. A simple way to remember this: fundamental rights say protect the people, directive principle says build a better society. Fundamental duties, which is on a third component, the fundamental duties remain citizens. That citizenship is not only about receiving rights, it is absolute. Why are fundamental duties important? Fundamental duties promote responsible citizenship, they strengthen the national unity and integrity, they encourage protection of our culture and environment, they support the enjoyment of fundamental rights, and they help build a disciplined, compassionate, and progressive society. Suppose we have the right to live in a clean environment, but if citizens throw waste everywhere, pollute river, and damage public property, then simply having rights is not enough. We also need responsible behavior. That is why rights and duties go together. So, enforcement of fundamental duties is an important point from which where the duties are not justiciable. That means they cannot generally be directly enforced through courts in the same way as fundamental rights. They can influence law and government policies, governance, judicial and interpretance, education, and public awareness. For example, environment protection is both a constitutional goal and a citizen responsibility. Rights, goal, and duties, the complete picture. So, the fundamental rights protects the individual. Descriptive principle provide goals for the state. Fundamental duties remain citizens about their responsibilities. So rights empowers us, descriptive directive principle shows the way, duties make us responsible. So when these three works together, they contribute to balanced, strong nation. A simple life example is the Constitution recognizes the right to education for children between 6 and 14 years. At the same time, directive principles provide broader guidance for education and welfare, and fundamental duties remain parents or guardians to provide opportunities of education to children in this age group. So we can see rights plus state responsibility and citizen responsibility work together. So we quickly revise the fundamental rights, Part 3 and Article 12 to 35. They protect individual freedom and equality and dignity. And directive principles of state policies, Article 4, Part 4, Article 36 to 51, they provide guidelines to the state for social and economic welfare. Fundamental duties, Part 4A, Article 51A, they remind citizenship of their responsibility toward the nation and society.